How does today's equipment compare to those of the 1970s? This may be a little early for some of you. William in Rockford, Illinois wants to know, and he says, hey Paul, I want your opinion on what the difference in sound from the 70s to now is. Do you feel that there's been a huge gain in quality? All my gear is from that time, and I'm very happy with it. I've never had the chance to hear what's being built today, but I'm intrigued watching your videos and listening to what you say about PS Audio. Well, thank you, William. I appreciate that. Glad somebody's watching. I sit here, spend this time doing this. I would probably babble, even if it wasn't on video. In fact, that's what I spend most of my day doing, is babbling about something. People call me up on the phone, or mostly by email. I get so busy around here, I don't have time for a lot of phone calls. But in any case, here's something to remember. If it sounded good and musical at any time in its life, that won't change. Okay? So, and let's be clear, when I say that won't change, given that the piece of equipment is still in good working order. Now, something in the 1970s, how many years is that? Let's see, 50? Is that 50 years? I'm not that good at math. Yeah, it's a little less than 50 years, but 40 something. That equipment that you have, hopefully you've changed its tubes, you've reinstalled new capacitors in it, because capacitors, at least the electrolytic kind, will dry out over that period of time. You have to replace that. But let's imagine you've done everything you're supposed to do. You've replaced all your capacitors, you've made sure that the tubes are new, and you've done all that. It should sound no different than it did in the 70s. And back then, we were building some of the greatest sounding equipment I had ever heard at that time. Huge steps up from the trash that was coming out from Kenwood and Pioneer and all of that stuff. I mean, those were dreadful sounding things. But Audio Research, Dynaco, Harman Kardon, Hafler, a number of products back then were just delightful sounding equipment, and it sounded musical back then. It will sound musical today. So you're still in good shape. Does today's stuff sound better? Oh yeah, yeah. And let me tell you how. I recently had a chance to hear one of my favorite products, which was from Audio Research, the original piece that I fell in love with, which was the Audio Research SP3 preamplifier. And I used to listen to all my vinyl through that. And that was the one that Stan and I worked so hard to try and beat. I mean, that was so good. Bill Johnson, the founder of Audio Research, put his heart and soul into that, and it was the standard bearer for Audio Research for many, many years. And I loved that piece, and it was very musical. But today, if you listen to an Audio Research SP3, you realize how colored it was, how affected the sound. Yes, I mean, it was kind of like pouring honey onto your cereal, or to something that you taste the honey and the sweet, and you don't get down to the essence of the food, because the Audio Research was woolly. It was kind of bloated in the bottom end. It had a muted but sweet top end, and it sounded wonderful. But in comparison to today's products that we make here, that other people make, it's definitely dated, colored, if you will. It's changing the sound of music in euphonic ways that are very pleasing. And you know, hey, if I had that old system, a pair of JBL corner horns, a Audio Research tube setup, and a set of records, and I had never heard modern electronics, I could go to my grave happy, because it sounded great and like real music. Just in comparison, It's colored and dated. So if you get a chance, definitely. Yeah, we send stuff out all the time. People call us up and, hey, I want to try this. Well, we send it out. That's fine. Or if you're in the neighborhood, and I know I say this a lot, and I think we probably get about one visitor a day now. Come by. We're just moving into our new building across the street, and probably the next time I record these videos, it will not be here. This will essentially be gone, and we'll be in our new dig. So come by, come visit us. We're building a whole new facility just to accommodate the visitors and the people who make a pilgrimage to our place. And we welcome you, we encourage you. Come by and say hi. I'll give you a hug or a handshake, whatever you're comfortable with. All right. Thanks for the question. Talk to you later.